Hey guys, here. So today we're going to talk a lot about fielding in MLB Show 21, robbing home runs, and the animation updates that goes along with it, all across the outfield, infield. I will say some things I was a little disappointed off. Let's just have a legend reveal go in the background as we're talking. So, I didn't see a whole lot of them talk about like fielding raters outside Raiders. What is this? The NFL outside of specific animations and catchers and stuff like that. So I wish I heard a little bit more about ratings mattering for these fielders and these animations. The legend was revealed. Grady Sizemore, quite a stud before injuries kind of ended his career a little early. He tried to play a little bit after it, but knee and back injuries. This guy was an absolute stud. 23 years old, hitting 290 with 53 home runs, 28 53 doubles. I can't speak today for some reason. So overall, had a phenomenal start to his career, but then kind of faded off due to injuries. And, that's a big problem in sports, right? And that's why the commissioners in every single sport is trash, because they never go through the commissioner settings and turn injuries off, which I always do is the first thing in my franchises. So maybe I should be commissioner in these things. So let's talk about fly ball catches. They talk about user control quite a bit. Now, my opinion on this, based on how it looked, and like I didn't, I guess, have a good feeling on the differences between this year and last year. But after watching all this, it was very neat to see the amount of animations they put into the game. Now, a lot of people in the argument online is like, Madden, 2K, all ruined by animations because it lowers and limits the user's skill on this. Now, I can see that argument because a lot of these things, it kind of sucks you into the animation. So all you have to do is get kind of close. And they mentioned that a few times throughout the stream, is that like they're kind of sucking you in to make the play for you a little bit once you're close enough. Now, I think that's an improvement over what we had, which is basically you're near there and like, all right, get this off my screen. Okay. You're near there. Okay, I guess we can talk about this a little bit. And it catches it for you. It's better than you're near there and it's dropping it, right? So, route to the ball indicator, they have new fielding indicators. Base for play, which, okay, catch ball, enhanced tag up catch, extreme wall catch, rob home run, routine fly ball, which we'll all get through. You can turn them off all in your settings they talk about, which is very nice. Pitching and hitting feature, there's a little bit down the road there. So, these indicators, they talk about them. I basically want to go through it. It's not that hard to get it. You'll basically play one game and understand fielding indicators. You see that line to the ball is kind of guiding you on the best path. I don't think that should be there for online play at all. I don't think there should be anything that it gives you the suggestion for how to field this ball, because they talk about user skills and like that kind of stuff. It shouldn't be there. Now, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I didn't see those lines in the technical test. I don't know if that's going to be put on there. Maybe I didn't have my setting correctly. The dive things, you see how they got those lines and stuff for how you should dive for the ball. Very cool. Now, my biggest problem with diving in the outfield has been, like this year, especially with those like extreme ball indicators, like I would dive and the ball would literally bounce off my glove or my guy's wrist. And I'm like, okay, well, that's awful. So the addition of the extra animations to make that actually suck in and actually catch the ball is a huge benefit. They said they added hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of animations, which is very nice. Now, there's a whole lot of different fielding. You see how the red line gets you there, and then you kind of circle around to play it better, throw to the bases and stuff. You kind of like, I don't know, gets into an animation against the wall and doesn't interact with the wall at all, which is kind of unrealistic, but, there's a little bit of that in any video game, so something that we can live with. A lot of this stuff, like this baseball indicator, it wasn't something that I had during the technical test. It was weird. It was kind of like a long little line thing. So this might be just a different setting for my fielding that I didn't see during the technical test. But overall, like, you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind these changes at all. Like, I think the worst thing, like fielding, like how much skill is there really in fielding? Like the biggest skill gap in fielding right now is pressing the button on time to the right base. And, like, it's better than having the players miss the ball. So the argument that, sucking you into animations, whether you mistime it, misalign it, that's lack of user skill. I can see the argument. I don't necessarily like it, but I can see how people make the argument. So a lot of cool new animations that way. I want to talk through a little bit more indicator breakdowns. Now let's go to the home run robbing, right? Okay, so the home run indicators changed this year. Last year, it would just be like a red circle. This year, you see those triangles. You jump right there, right as that third one is ending, and you're going up. So let's go through like the regular view of this instead of that. So right here, I want to watch this one. See how it goes? Bing, 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 and then you jump. That's basically the timing of the Rob home run. This year, like last year, they said they only had guys that go straight up. This year, you can actually dip your glove behind the wall. You see how he went behind the wall and caught it? Which I think is a big upgrade. I think it's something that was definitely needed in the game. I mean, it's realistic. You know, going back to like Puckett and stuff and you know, all the other Rob home runs through history. I think Griffey's done a pretty good job of that. And, you know, like they've talked about Buxton and all the ones. So here is the Rob home run indicator. Sorry, this is off the wall indicator. My bad. So this year, they basically talked about, you know, in previous years, if you were slightly off, like if you like moved your player at all, and the ball kind of like just went past you and dribbled for a long ways, and the opponent got a triple or inside the Parker. This year, they'll suction you in, even if you're off. Like, you see how that guy was offline? They'll suction you into the animation. That's why they had hundreds of animations to allow you to grasp that ball. So you can kind of be aggressive near the wall. Basically, what they said is, hey, run for the ball, go for it. You don't have to wait for it to land, except for, like, obviously Green Monster or something. But, like, you really want to play it aggressively because they'll suck you into a lot of animations this year to play it a little bit better, play it a bit more naturally off the wall. So you don't have to be as cautious. So definitely dive forward, try and make a play. And if you miss, you miss. But overall, you should be okay because they can catch the ball pretty well against the wall. Okay. With that said, outfield overhaul, keep moving, strafing. Strafing was kind of a big deal because you get in the indicator and like sometimes, and this was a big problem at the beginning of last year and in previous years, where like you can't really get under it, and if you try and move your guy, they'll fly away from it. This year, once you're under that, it basically strafes you in the zone until you get under to the spot you want. You can watch the ball either get smaller right there on the field or the actual shadow of the ball up in the sky to see like, okay, now I'm tracking it, and there I am for the catch. So the strafe is kind of a nice little inclusion to hopefully fix a lot of the stuff. Off the wall animations they go through right here, off of Fenway, like I said, that Green Monster, you really don't want to be too aggressive with that because it's, you know, the ball indicator saying that it's going to land higher than you can jump unless, I don't know, you have like a pogo stick in your pockets and you're willing to like really jump up on that wall. So I really enjoy the difference in the changes and the thought that they put into fielding this year because this was a major sore spot. Probably not, it wasn't the worst thing in last year's game, but it was definitely up there. Fielding was definitely one of the sore spots, especially off the wall or near the wall. Catches near the wall where like you couldn't get it. You wouldn't be able to like lock onto the ball and it would like bounce right next to you, and it's very frustrating. Just talk about the hundreds of animations they added. So kind of a cool thing with the strafing and everything off the wall, different animations you can get. You're kind of strafing there, kind of like getting better, trying to match up and line up with that white little angle so that way it doesn't run past you and you rely on your CPU fielder to get it for you. Off the wall catches, we kind of talked about that. He really goes hard for it and he misses. They say like if you get a bad animation, you'll know it because you get that reach animation. You'll take a bad route to the ball, whereas that just bounces off your glove and you kind of pick it up. So there's not going to be perfect. And I wish they talked a little bit more about like which of these animations will trigger depending on your defensive rating. Like if somebody that has like, I don't know, 50 fielding out there, maybe out of position, are triggering these same animations as like Willie Mays, then it becomes a very frustrating experience because they're all basically the same player out there. So I really hope for a little bit more explanations of what the ratings do, how many animations they unlock, and how much you get eaten up and get bad animations with lower end ratings, or like do your outfielders revert to like last year's outfielders at the beginning of the year if you only have like, you know, like I said, 30 to 50 rating in the outfield. So that'd be kind of cool to hear a little bit more about the differentiation, because oftentimes it's said like, you know, fielding doesn't matter, just get the best bats possible because they're essentially the same. Maybe some speed, maybe some reaction. Obviously we saw reaction be a big deal last year. Reaction matters, I'm guessing, going into 21 also. So I'm interested in seeing a little bit more about that, about how ratings factor into these animations that you're triggering. So there it is. And how wide, like, does the radius of animation expand as your fielding rating goes up to 99? So there you go. That's my opinion on a lot of this stuff for fielding. Robbing home runs, it's all about timing, and cutoffs to home plate are still there with the perfect throw and fielding, and that's all great. So kind of neat. Here's like a home run indicator, Rob, but like it's not gonna be a home run. You see what I'm saying? So like there's still the indicator, Rob, if you really have to get up and field the ball off the wall, in case anybody were questioning that. right here off the wall. Boom. And you got it and relayed into the infield. So, fielding, kind of a neat thing. Overall, definitely needed jump catches. Where are my jump catches? I'm just kind of like going to flash forward through this a little bit. We've talked quite a bit about it as they're kind of going through a lot more of what needs to happen for your catch-ins. And getting in the right spot is as important as ever. But hopefully, yeah, like that animation will trigger quite a bit instead of like just let it drop next to you. So fielders being smart and being able to catch the ball near the wall, kind of important. They talk about off the axis. Now this is the one part that I see the argument around lack of skill gap, right? Basically, you could take like a more circular path to the ball to play a little safer, and it'll suction you into animations to field the ball, which I don't hate. But it does kind of narrow the skill gap if your animation is going to be the same or very similar speed-wise, taking a good path and a bad path around the ball diamond. So there you go. They basically suction in, and you know, it looks cooler. It looks better. So bravo to them. I have no bad words to say about it. Fielding improvements, desperately needed. Very cool. In the gap and chasing it down. That reach and throw. Woof. Kind of looks like Mantle out there with the lefty. Is it Mantle a lefty? I think he is a lefty throw. Or Sizemore. Maybe that was the new Grady Sizemore they were teasing. I don't know. Maybe you can look at other players on the field. Any other players that they're teasing that we don't know? All right, anyways. There you go, off-Z catches. Z-axis means like, you know, not perfectly on the right axis to cut it off, but you're a little bit off, so it suctions you into it. There you go, infield plays. Okay, dribblers. These are a major problem. They said not just due to the camera angle that we're on, but because of the animation and the gather and throw, especially near the catcher, the pitcher. You wouldn't often understand if you're on the pitcher or not. These became issues. Now Tatis here is getting the range, getting the throw, converting over for the out. Because, like, I feel like, you know, obviously infield base hits matter. And the you know, access to what you go for the ball matters. And that's like a skill gap. But, like, I don't think infield hits should be rewarded because you basically miss the ball. So anytime that you miss the ball and get rewarded, I think, you know, a lot of people will complain. You know, obviously luck happens in the MLB, but like a pitcher just like circling around the ball and not being able to pick it up because of animation issues, or a catcher the same way. If it was like drilled out in front of you, you ever run around the ball with your catcher before? It was more of a problem earlier in the year than I feel like I've had later in the year. Obviously, I think I'm most interested in this due to drag bunts and bunts in general. As we had the year go on, we saw a ton of people start drag bunting. And it became a major problem because the first base would get the ball, but like the pitcher wouldn't beat the runner to the first base, or a lot of other things. So they'd punch it super consistently towards the second baseman. They would be able to play. So if there's an ability to like make drag bunts just not work anymore, and you can get a good fielder so that way it doesn't happen, that would be pretty good for the game in my opinion. Because drag bunts do not offer very much of a skill gap at all. So over-the-shoulder shortstop catches. Y'all remember, like, your guy would slow down and then do an Olay animation? Very frustrating. You have to, like, take your guy off the axis so that way he speeds up the full sprint speed and then he can kind of get under it. Now, they added more animation, so, like, they said a lot of people complain about blue pits, which, you know, obviously Texas Leaguers do happen, which, I mean, you know, they're tracking down Texas Leaguers quite a bit here because of how fast they run. But, like, it happened and it paid off for people, and it was very frustrating to let them up. Now, I don't know what the MLB average is for Texas Leaguers, but being able to get animations in order to reach out and really grab them is kind of a cool thing, especially like maybe a high fielding attribute guy, whereas like a lower fielder maybe won't reach as far and have as good as a fielding. Now, the one thing they did talk about with catchers and pop time, now I hope this is tied to ratings, not necessarily just the catcher himself. It could be like individual catchers maybe is better, I don't know, but like what about franchise guys down the road? Who knows about pop time? But pop time's basically when the ball hits the catcher's glove, and then by the time he gets up and throws the ball down to second base. Now, pop time, you know, you think of like, oh, pops up and throws it. Yeah, but they can also throw it off their knees too, right? The classic, a lot of catchers do it. Like Gary Sanchez is known for doing it and stuff. But like, here's the thing. it matters, right? And they said they wanted to make the catcher defense matter. I'm really disappointed I didn't see a whole bunch out of first and third defense here. Guys auto dive for the ball really quick on first and third, even with low ratings. So like this right here, pop time, they timed it out, is like, what did they show here? Like 1.7 seconds, which is incredible, because they said under 2 seconds is crazy. So catcher pop time, 1.73, basically insane, right? Because it was right on the base. So it looks like a very fast animation, almost like unrealistically fast. So 1.7, is that like the fastest you can do, or what's that pop time? A little bit worse. Yeah. You can see, obviously, you know, the perfect throws will get it in the perfect spot. So that's like user skill and stuff. So anyways, overall, a pretty nice addition. The catcher pop time, tied to probably throw power, catcher rating. It wouldn't be like blocking, probably maybe the fielding rating. The throw accuracy meter, they said they basically included wild throws into the yellow part of the meter. You see how there's no red part anymore because nobody ever really threw it with red. So they basically made it all yellow and shades of it. And so now if you miss the green part, you can throw a wild throw and it misses the base, instead of previously where it just draw the guy off the base and it would be like the guy would get on base, but overall the first baseman would still catch the ball and it wouldn't be a wild throw. So they made it a little bit more wild if you miss, but it doesn't seem that hard to miss still with competent shortstop and second baseman, third baseman, because look at how wide that green is. Now this could potentially be on a very low difficulty level, could be on casual mode. So that will obviously change if you're going up to legendary stuff, but overall, that's a nothing burger for me. The change of the throwing meter, accuracies and inaccuracies. So I mean, the major leaguers, they should make the plays, and you know, I don't like that they would randomly miss it. So I'm glad that they have that they don't randomly miss it, and that you have to actually mess up in order for them to miss it. Manual cutoffs and online play. For those who don't know, you used to be able, like in offline play, you'll see this. Like you get an L2 to get like the first, like if you're throwing home, you get the first baseman to like cut it off with hitting the L2 and they'll cut in front of it. Now you can do that in online play. So that's new this year. I always wondered where that was for online play. I just figured I was missing it or something, but apparently it was just never active. And that makes a lot more sense to me because it was there for offline play too. It was there for offline play, but not online. And then back to Legend Reveal, which you saw. So overall, I like the changes. I can see some people being frustrated one way or another, but I think overall, great improvements to the game. Fielding improvements. It was something that definitely needed improving. So we'll see how it ends up playing overall. But nice work, SDS, on the fielding improvements, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Call to Action. See ya tomorrow.